Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solutions radio program where we talk about looking for a job, changing jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. And in this session, we're going to talk about journaling. I've always recommended it in all of my books and the training programs. And it's just been something that I've found candidates have done over a number of years. And it's really helped them in their job search. But I've never really been able to prove it. But since 1986, a psychologist by the name of James Pennebaker of the University of Texas in Austin has published a number of studies that prove that if people going through difficult or challenging times will simply write about their experiences on a daily basis, they will deal with their emotional stress much better than those who don't. These kinds of studies have even shown that this kind of journaling even boosts a person's immune system and makes them feel better. Pennebaker found that if people only write 15 minutes a day, their attitude towards everything becomes more positive. The immediate aftermath of these experiments created sadness and emotional distress, and in some cases, depression. But over a period of time, Pennebaker found that 70% of these subjects said they understood themselves better and were more comfortable with the experience they wrote about. Since his initial study, hundreds of other experiments like this have been done around the world, and the results have been about the same. That people who write some of their most emotional experiences become more understanding about those experiences, put those experiences into perspective, and they feel better about themselves. What's even more important in our particular discussion is that people who have been laid off from their jobs who practice journaling about their experience having to look for a job find it more easily, and more importantly, they get hired quickly. In a 3-month study of doing this kind of writing, 27% of the unemployed subjects had found jobs compared to only 5% of the subjects who had not done the journaling. By 7 months, 57% of the people who had done journaling had found a new job, which was 3 times, get that now, 3 times the number of people that had found a job not doing the journaling. Even Pennebaker himself admits that he's not sure why this kind of journaling makes such a big difference in the attitude and the results of people's efforts. Apparently, the act of writing about the emotional strain of looking for a job speeds up the ability to put the incident in perspective and deal with it more effectively. This especially comes when you give poor interviews or you don't get a job that you think you're going to get. In all of the books that I've written, as I mentioned about finding a job, as well as my online program, The Job Search Solution, I've always recommended that people write about the experience they go through while they're looking for a job. But I have to admit that the discovery of Pennebaker's studies have reinforced my suggestions. There is actual statistical proof of it. Now, there are 18 million people looking for a job in the United States. That's a whole lot of emotions. The people that begin journaling and actually write about their experience are going to deal with the emotional strain more easily. And if Pennebaker and those that have followed him are right, they will find a job more quickly and easily. Up until now, my advice, as I say, has simply been anecdotal. Bluntly, the why doesn't matter. If it works, and I'm absolutely confident that it does, it helps to be journaling every single day. I think it's because it objectifies all of your emotions and it puts those emotions out in on a journal. You can go back and read them. I've had candidates tell me that the kind of thing that they journaled about really wasn't as bad as they thought it was at the time. Many times they'll admit that what happened actually turned out for the better, and they'll see their progress throughout the whole journaling process, from when they first maybe got laid off or got fired from their job. They wrote about it, and it helped them express their feelings, and it objectified their feelings so that they didn't have to worry as much about it anymore. And because it was there in their journal, they didn't ruminate on it and perseverate over everything that happened in the process, and it left it alone. So I recommend that you do journaling every day, 15 minutes, preferably in the evening, after every day of looking for a job and trying to find one, and write down the kind of things you did and the kinds of things you experienced, even if they were negative, like not getting the offer that you thought you were going to get, or not performing well on an interview that you thought you were going to perform well on, or and what you didn't do in the interview so that you actually learned from it. That kind of journaling, I think, is going to help anybody find a new job a little faster. It helps psychologically and emotionally. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashir with the Job Search Solution.